I never thought I'd be writing this post. Hell, I never thought my life would turn into the kind of soap opera trash you see on daytime TV. But here I am, 3 months post-divorce, finally ready to share what happened to me. Maybe it'll help someone else spot the red flags I was too blind to see. My ex-wife Sarah and I had been married for 8 years. We met in college, dated for 4 years, and I thought we had the perfect relationship. She was beautiful, smart, ambitious, everything I thought I wanted in a partner. We both had good jobs. I am in IT. She's in marketing, owned a nice house in the suburbs, and took 2 vacations a year. From the outside, we looked like the ideal couple. The problem started about 2 years ago, though I didn't recognize them at the time. Sarah began insisting we use this specific travel agency for all our trips, some boutique place called Skybound Adventures that specialized in exclusive flight experiences. She said she'd heard about them from a colleague and that they offered better deals than booking directly with airlines. I thought it was weird since I'd always been the one to handle our travel arrangements online, but she seemed so excited about it that I went along with it. Our trips became more frequent too. What used to be 2 vacations a year turned into every other month. Sarah would come home with these elaborate itineraries: weekend trips to Chicago, long weekends in Denver, spontaneous flights to Nashville. When I questioned the expense, she'd wave me off and say the agency was giving us amazing deals, and that we deserved to enjoy life while we were young. I should have been suspicious when she started dressing up more for flights. Not just nice clothes, but full makeup, expensive perfume, the works. When I asked about it, she'd laugh and say she wanted to look good for our romantic getaways. She even started booking us first-class seats, claiming the agency had connections that got us upgrades at no extra cost. The flight that changed everything was supposed to be a simple long weekend in Miami. We'd been there before, but Sarah insisted we go back because she loved the energy of the city. The agency booked us on a smaller airline I'd never heard of, Apex Airways. Sarah seemed unusually excited about this particular trip, more than usual. She spent an hour getting ready that morning, changing outfits 3 times before settling on this tight black dress that seemed way too fancy for a 2 p.m. flight. So there we are at the airport, and Sarah is practically bouncing with excitement. She keeps checking her phone and looking around like she's expecting to see someone. When I ask who she's looking for, she says she's just people watching and that airports are fascinating. Red flag number 847 that I completely missed. We get to the gate and Sarah immediately walks up to the desk to talk to the gate agent. She's there for like 10 minutes, laughing and chatting like real old friends. When she comes back, she's grinning and says they moved us to even better seats. I am thinking, great, more upgrades from this magical travel agency. The plane is smaller than I expected, maybe 50 passengers total. It's nice though, really nice. Leather seats, lots of legroom, actual service. Sarah 1, sit still. She keeps getting up to use the bathroom, walking around the cabin, chatting with the flight attendants like she owns the place. One of them, this blonde woman named Jessica, seems to know her personally. They're talking about some restaurant in Miami and making plans to meet up. About an hour into the flight, we hit some turbulence. Nothing major, but my stomach wasn't handling it well. I also had a couple drinks in the airport lounge because Sarah kept buying rounds, saying we were celebrating. Celebrating what? I didn't know, but she was in such a good mood that I went along with it. The combination of alcohol and turbulence was making me feel pretty rough, so I decided to hit the bathroom and splash some water on my face. The bathroom was in the back of the plane, and as I am walking there, I noticed Sarah isn't in her seat anymore. I figure she's probably in the other bathroom or chatting with the flight attendants again. After I handle my business, I am feeling pretty wiped out. The drinks, the turbulence, the stress of travel, it all hit me at once. Our seats were in the front row, and mine reclined pretty far back, So I decided to close my eyes for a few minutes. Just a quick power nap. I must have been out for at least an hour, maybe more. When I woke up, the plane felt different, quieter, more stable. I looked over to Sarah's seat, and it was empty. Her purse was gone too. So I wake up and Sarah's gone. At first, I am not too worried. Maybe she's in the bathroom. Maybe she's up front chatting with the flight attendants again. She'd been doing that all flight. But something felt off. The cabin was dimmer. Most passengers were sleeping or reading quietly, and there was this weird energy in the air. I get up and start walking around. Check both bathrooms, empty. Walk through the cabin looking at every seat. She's nowhere. Now I am starting to panic a little. Where the hell could she be on a plane? I asked Jessica, the blonde flight attendant who seemed to know Sarah, if she's seen my wife. Jessica gets this weird look on her face, like she knows something but doesn't want to say it. She tells me Sarah is helping with something up front, and that I should just go back to my seat. Helping with what? What could a passenger possibly be helping with? But Jessica is being really insistent that I sit down, and honestly, I am still feeling a bit fuzzy from the drinks and the nap. So I go back to my seat for a few minutes. But the more I think about it, the more wrong this feels. My wife doesn't just disappear. She doesn't help with mysterious things. Something is seriously off. After about 10 minutes, I can't take it anymore. I get up again, and this time I am determined to find her. I walk toward the front of the plane, past the galley, toward the cockpit area. There's usually a curtain or door separating the passenger area from the pilot area, but on this smaller plane, it's just a partially closed curtain. And that's when I hear it. Soft laughter. A woman's laugh that I recognize immediately. My wife's laugh. But it's not her normal laugh. It's her flirty laugh. The laugh she used to give me when we were dating, but hadn't heard in months. My stomach drops. I quietly move closer to the curtain, and I can hear voices now. Sarah's voice, and a man's voice I don't recognize. They talking in low, intimate tones. I hear the man say something about missing her, and Sarah responding that she couldn't wait to see him either. My heart is pounding so loud I am sure they can hear it. Every rational part of my brain is trying to come up with innocent explanations. Maybe she's just being friendly. Maybe this is some kind of customer service thing. Maybe I am misunderstanding. But then I hear Sarah say, "God, I've been thinking about this all week. James keeps asking why I am so excited about our trips, and I have to make up stories about loving Miami. James, that's me. She's talking about me like I am some obstacle to work around. I know I should walk away. I know I should go back to my seat and pretend I never heard this. But I can I have to see what's happening. So I very carefully peek through the gap in the curtain. What I see will be burned into my memory forever. Sarah is in the cockpit, sitting in what I assume is the co-pilot's chair, facing a man in a pilot's uniform. They sitting close, really close, and his hand is on her thigh. She's leaning into him, running her fingers through his hair. And then, as I am standing there in complete shock, she kisses him. Not a friendly peck, a deep, passionate kiss like she's making up for lost time. I must have made some kind of noise, a gasp or something, because they both suddenly look toward the curtain. Sarah sees me standing there, and the look on her face, it's not surprise. It's not guilt. It's annoyance, like I interrupted something important. "James," she says, not even bothering to move away from this guy. "You supposed to be sleeping." So there I am, staring at my wife of 8 years making out with some pilot, and her first reaction is to tell me I am supposed to be sleeping. Not, "I am sorry." Not, "I can explain." Just annoyance that I am not unconscious in my seat like a good little husband. The pilot, let's call him Captain Asshole, immediately jumps up and starts adjusting his uniform like he's trying to look professional. He's probably in his early 40s, tall, the kind of guy who probably thinks his uniform makes him irresistible. He clears his throat and says something about Sarah visiting the cockpit for the tour, and that I should return to my seat for safety reasons. A tour at 30,000 feet while sitting in his lap. Sure, buddy, but Sarah doesn't even try to lie. She just sits there, looks me dead in the eye, and says, "We need to talk when we land." Like this is a business meeting she's postponing. I am standing there in complete shock. My brain is trying to process what I am seeing, but it's like trying to understand a foreign language. This is my wife, the woman I shared a bed with for 8 years. The woman who gets mad when I leave dishes in the sink. And she's sitting in another man's lap at 30,000 feet telling me we'll talk later. Are you serious right now? I finally managed to say. You cheating on me and you want to schedule a conversation about it? Captain Asshole clears his throat again and says he needs to get back to flying the plane. Sarah stands up, smooths down her dress, the same dress I complimented her on that morning, and walks toward me like nothing happened. "James, you being dramatic," she says. "It's not what you think. Not what I think, lady, unless you were performing CPR with your tongue. It's exactly what I think." She pushes past me and walks back toward our seats. I follow her, my mind racing. The other passengers are still mostly asleep or absorbed in their books. Nobody saw what just happened. Nobody knows that my entire world just imploded in the cockpit of a regional jet. Sarah sits down in her seat and pulls out her phone like this is all perfectly normal. I sit down next to her, and I can smell his cologne on her. This strange cologne that I never smelled on her before, but somehow seems familiar. "How long?" I ask her. "How long what?" She doesn't even look up from her phone. "Don't play dumb, Sarah. How long have you been fucking him?" She finally looks at me, and there's this coldness in her eyes that I never seen before. "You really want to do this here? On a plane full of people? I want to know how long my wife has been cheating on me, yes." She sighs like I am being unreasonable. "Marcus and I have been friends for 2 years. It's complicated, Marcus. So Captain Asshole has a name. And friends? Is that what we calling it? Friends don't sit in each other's laps, Sarah. You wouldn't understand," she says, turning back to her phone. "You never understood me. And there it is. Somehow, this is my fault. I am the one who doesn't understand. I am the problem. The rest of the flight is the longest hour and a half of my life." Sarah acts like nothing happened. She orders a drink, flips through the airline magazine, even takes a selfie. Meanwhile, I am sitting there wondering if I am losing my mind. Did I really see what I think I saw? Is this really happening? When we land in Miami, Sarah is one of the first people off the plane. She doesn't wait for me. Doesn't help with our carry-on bags. Just walks off like we strangers who happen to sit next to each other. I catch up with her at baggage claim, and she's checking her phone again. "The hotel shuttle is here," she says without looking at me. "Sarah, we need to talk. Right now." "Fine," she says, "but not here." So we get to the hotel, and I am expecting some kind of breakdown. Some tears. Some "I am sorry, I made a mistake" conversation. What I get instead is Sarah acting like I am the one who owes her an explanation. We get to our room. This beautiful ocean view suite that I now realize was probably chosen so she could send photos to Captain Marcus. And she immediately starts unpacking like this is a normal vacation. I am standing there watching her hang up dresses and arrange her makeup on the bathroom counter, and I feel like I am in the Twilight Zone. "Are you going to say anything?" I finally ask. She stops what she's doing and turns to face me. "What do you want me to say, James? How about starting with, I am sorry?" She laughs. Actually laughs. "Sorry for what?" For having a friend? For being happy for once? For cheating on your husband? I haven't cheated on anyone, she says, and the way she says it, with this completely straight face, makes me wonder if I am losing my mind. Marcus and I are friends. Close friends. Sarah, I saw you. You were sitting in his lap, kissing him. You saw what you wanted to see, she interrupts. They've been looking for reasons to be suspicious of me for months. This is where it gets really fucked up, guys. She starts turning this whole thing around on me. Apparently, I am the problem. I am paranoid. I am controlling. I don't trust her. I don't appreciate her. According to Sarah, the reason she's been taking so many trips is because I am suffocating her at home. The reason she books through Skybound Adventures is because the owner, Marcus's friend, gives her deals. The reason she dresses up for flights is because she likes to look nice, and I should be proud to have a wife who takes care of herself. Every single red flag I noticed over the past 2 years? All in my head. I am being paranoid. I am being unreasonable. How long have you known Marcus? I ask her. I told you, about 2 years. And how did you meet him? She hesitates for just a second, but I catch it. Through the travel agency. He's one of their pilots. Sarah, they've been booking us on his flights specifically, Haven, TU. Another hesitation. Sometimes. He's a good pilot. That's why you insisted on using that agency. So you could see him. You being ridiculous, James. You making something innocent into something ugly because you can stand to see me happy. And there it is again. This is about my inability to handle her happiness. Not about her cheating. Not about her lying. About my inadequacy as a husband. The weekend in Miami is a nightmare. Sarah acts like we having a great time. Takes photos for Instagram. Posts about our romantic getaway. Meanwhile, I am dying inside. Every time she goes to the bathroom, I wonder if she's texting him. Every time she smiles at her phone, I know she's thinking about him. On our last night, I find her phone while she's in the shower. I know it's wrong, but I am desperate. I need to know how deep this goes. What I find is worse than I imagined. Hundreds of messages between her and Marcus going back almost 2 years. Photos, videos, explicit conversations about what they want to do to each other. Details about their meetings on various flights. And the worst part? Messages about me. James suspects something, but he's too much of a coward to actually confront me. Poor James, so clueless. Sometimes I feel bad for him, but then I remember how boring our marriage is. I told him we going to Denver for a romantic weekend. He has no idea you'll be flying us there. There are dozens of messages like this. My wife and her lover laughing about how stupid I am. How easy it is to deceive me. How pathetic our marriage is. The shower turns off, and I quickly put her phone back. When Sarah comes out, wrapped in a hotel towel, smiling like everything is perfect, I realize our marriage is over. Not because she cheated, though that's unforgivable, but because of how little respect she has for me. How easily she lies. How she's turned me into the villain in her story. I want a divorce, I tell her. She stops brushing her hair and looks at me in the mirror. Because of Marcus? Because of everything. When I tell Sarah I want a divorce, she doesn't cry. She doesn't beg. She doesn't even seem surprised. She just sets down her hairbrush, turns around, and says, fine. But this is your choice, not mine. Even facing divorce, she's making it my fault. The flight home is pure hell. We on a different airline. Thank God. And Sarah spends the entire 3 hours texting furiously. I assume she's talking to Marcus, probably telling him how mean and unreasonable I am being. She occasionally shows me messages from her friends and family. Apparently, she's already started her victim campaign. Mom thinks you having a midlife crisis, she tells me, showing me a text from her mother calling me confused and throwing away a good marriage. Did you tell her about Marcus? I ask. I told her you've been paranoid and controlling, and now you leaving me because I have male friends. Male friends. That's what we calling it now. By the time we land, Sarah has already painted herself as the abandoned wife whose husband left her for no reason. Her social media is full of cryptic posts about going through a difficult time, and some people can't handle a strong woman. The comments are full of support from friends who have no idea what really happened. The next few weeks are a masterclass in manipulation. Sarah refuses to move out of our house, claiming she has just as much right to be there. She hires a lawyer immediately, a real shark who specializes in protecting women from vindictive ex-husbands. But here's where it gets really twisted. Sarah starts acting like the perfect wife. She cooks my favorite meals, cleans the house, wears sexy lingerie to bed. She's trying to seduce me while simultaneously preparing to divorce me. When I don't respond to her advances, she tells her friends I am withholding intimacy and emotionally abusive. Her lawyer sends me a letter demanding I pay for Sarah's therapy to deal with the trauma of my abandonment. Abandonment, because discovering your wife's affair and asking for a divorce is abandonment. I hire my own lawyer, and that's when things get really ugly. Sarah's story keeps changing. First, Marcus was just a friend. Then, they had developed feelings, but nothing physical happened. Then, okay, maybe some kissing, but nothing more. Finally, when her lawyer realizes they have no defense, it becomes, James drove me to seek comfort elsewhere with his emotional neglect. She claims I was never home. I work from home 3 days a week. She claims I didn't pay attention to her. I planned most of our dates and vacations. She claims I was controlling. I literally let her plan all our trips for 2 years. Every single thing becomes evidence of my failure as a husband. The worst part? Some people believe her. Her family sides with her completely. Some of our mutual friends start giving me the cold shoulder. Her version of events is so convincing, so detailed, so focused on my shortcomings that people actually think I am the bad guy for leaving my lonely wife. But then my lawyer does something brilliant. He subpoenas the records from Skybound Adventures. Turns out, Sarah has been booking flights with Marcus for 2 years, just like I suspected. But it's worse than I thought. She's been paying for extra flights she never told me about. Day trips while I was at work. Weekend getaways while I thought she was visiting her sister. The credit card bills show hundreds of charges I never saw because she'd been having the statements sent to her office. My lawyer also discovers that Marcus is part owner of Skybound Adventures. The whole thing is a setup designed to facilitate affairs. Rich, bored housewives pay premium prices for exclusive flight experiences with handsome pilots. Sarah wasn't his only client. She wasn't even his only regular. When confronted with this evidence, Sarah's story changes again. Now she's the victim of Marcus's manipulation. He seduced her. He took advantage of her vulnerability in her troubled marriage. She was just a lonely woman who got caught up in something she couldn't control. But my lawyer has the text messages now. We got them through legal discovery, and they paint a very different picture. Sarah wasn't seduced. She was the aggressor. She pursued Marcus, paid for their meetings, and bragged to him about how easy it was to fool me. One message that particularly stands out. James is so pathetic. He actually thanked me for planning such wonderful trips. If only he knew he was paying for me to cheat on him. So we in court, and Sarah's lawyer is still trying to paint her as the victim. They arguing for alimony, claiming she gave up career opportunities to support my ambitions. She didn't and that she deserves compensation for the emotional trauma of our marriage ending. But then my lawyer drops the bombshell. Not only do we have all of Sarah's messages with Marcus, but during discovery, we found something else. Sarah had been using our joint credit card to pay for other women's flights too. She wasn't just Marcus's client. She was recruiting for him. Turns out, Sarah had been getting kickbacks from Skybound Adventures for every new client she brought in. Remember how she was always talking to other wives at parties about taking romantic trips? How she recommend that travel agency to everyone? She was literally pimping out Marcus to other married women and getting paid for it. The credit card records show payments to Sarah from Skybound Adventures, commission payments for referrals. My wife wasn't just cheating on me. She was running a side business helping other women cheat on their husbands. And I was unknowingly funding it. When this comes out in court, Sarah's lawyer looks like he wants to disappear. Sarah starts crying. The first real emotion I've seen from her in months, but it's not remorse. It's anger that she got caught. You don't understand, she tells the judge. I was building something. I was helping women find happiness they couldn't find in their marriages. Even facing the evidence, she still thinks she's the hero of this story. The judge is not impressed. Sarah doesn't get alimony. In fact, she's ordered to pay me back for all the unauthorized charges, the secret flights, the commission payments, everything. We talking about almost $40,000 over 2 years. But here's the really interesting part. Remember how I mentioned reporting Skybound Adventures? Well, it turns out they were under investigation by the FAA for safety violations. Marcus had been using company planes for personal trips, falsifying flight logs, and operating without proper licenses for some routes. When the investigation expanded after my complaint, they discovered the whole affair facilitation scheme. Marcus lost his pilot's license, Skybound Adventures was shut down, and several people are facing criminal charges for fraud and tax evasion. Sarah's name came up in the investigation. She's been questioned by federal agents about her role in the scheme. Last I heard, she might be facing charges for tax evasion. She never reported the commission income and wire fraud. But wait, it gets better. 2 weeks after our divorce was finalized, I get a call from a woman named Jennifer. Turns out, she's Marcus's wife. His wife of 15 years. Marcus wasn't just some single pilot having affairs with clients. He was married with 2 kids. Jennifer found out about everything when the FAA investigation hit the news. She's divorcing Marcus too, and she wanted to thank me for exposing the whole operation. Apparently, Marcus had been running this scheme for years, and Sarah was just his latest business partner. Here's the kicker. Jennifer tells me that Marcus and Sarah had a huge falling out. After they both got caught, Marcus blamed Sarah for being too obvious and bringing down his operation. Sarah blamed Marcus for not being careful enough with the business side. They not together anymore. Sarah's dream romance crashed and burned the moment their scam got exposed. She lost her husband, her lover, her income scheme, and her reputation all at once. As for me, I am doing great. I bought a smaller house with the money Sarah had to pay back. I am dating someone new. A teacher named Lisa who thinks traveling means driving to the state park for hiking, not booking mysterious flights with shady agencies. She's normal, honest, and actually laughs at my jokes instead of rolling her eyes. Sarah, last I heard, is living in a studio apartment and working at a call center. Her social media has gone quiet. No more posts about living her best life or romantic getaways. Most of our mutual friends figured out the truth eventually, especially after the news reports about Skybound Adventures. The funniest part? I got a friend request on Facebook last month from Marcus's wife, Jennifer. We become friends, bonding over our shared experience of being married to sociopaths. She's doing well too. Got the house, the kids, and a hefty settlement from Marcus. Final thoughts. To everyone who followed this story, thank you. Writing it out helped me process everything that happened. If you in a relationship where something feels off, trust your instincts. If your partner suddenly changes their behavior, starts taking mysterious trips, or begins blaming you for their happiness, pay attention. Sarah spent 2 years making me feel like I was paranoid, controlling, and inadequate. She was so good at manipulation that I started believing her. But the truth always comes out eventually. Oh, and one last thing. I fly Southwest now. Regular commercial flights with regular pilots who don't know my name and Aaron trying to sleep with the passengers. It's boring and exactly what flying should be. Thank you all for watching this story. Subscribe to the channel. Put likes on my channel every day. There are 2 crazy stories, so see you soon.